Hey guys, I'm Selina and I'm the New Voices Rising Food Justice Fellow for 2025 to 2026. Next slide. That's good. Okay. As a Food Justice Fellow, I've done many different projects on environmental issues that impact our area, and also some facts about me is that I love to take naps. My favorite animal is a pig. I'm able to play the clarinet, and I'm interested in forensics. Yep. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what is food justice? Food justice is equal access to healthy and affordable food. It also gets rid of food deserts, which is when like certain areas aren't able to access healthy foods or when they don't have like the transportation accessibility. Having healthy and accessible food near communities helps many families stay at good health and live longer. It can also reduce the amount of VMT, which stands for like vehicle emit miles traveled, meaning that people emit less pollution because they don't have to like drive as far. Without healthy foods, people are more vulnerable to like health issues and diseases. So a bit of where our food comes from is that it comes from farms or businesses where they grow like different kinds of crops and they harvest when it's ready. It then gets transported to like warehouses to be like sorted out and then transported again to grocery stores, restaurants, etc. Next slide. Okay, so the connection food justice has to air quality and water quality. Both polluted water and polluted air can affect the growth of crops and damage their cells, which will reduce the amount of nutrition the crops are able to produce, or it could just completely kill the crops, which is not good at all. Polluted air can lead to like crops being half their average size, but if there was no pollution, the crops will be able to grow to that certain size, and that is because the toxins in the air can damage the stomata, which is like the pores on the leaves, and that could lead to like slower photosynthesis. Since water is the main source for the growth of crops, using clean water would help the plant thrive and be good to consume. While using contaminated water to grow crops would worsen the growth of the crops, but also pollute the soil, harming any future crops that might be planted there. Next slide. Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay, so Pittsburgh. A bit about Pittsburgh, where I live, is that it's mainly surrounded by like fast food places rather than grocery stores or just healthy food places. My high school, which is seen in the middle bottom, is surrounded by like fast food restaurants. The one on the left and the right. Um, and they only contain like snacks and drinks. But there's a farm, family harvest farm, where I did my externship where they have like a little stand outside that has like fresh produce um that it's grown for anyone who wants it. And there was also a Sprouts store near my house that recently opened for maybe about a year now. But before that, that area was surrounded by like fast food places like Wingstop and Mountain Mike's, with the nearest grocery store being like Safeway, about like a 10-minute drive and maybe 40-minute walk, which is really far. But Sprouts can be on more the expensive side. Next slide. Okay, my time in NVR. Um, During the summer of 2025, I was able to become part of NVR and was able to learn the different factors that contribute to our environment. I came in knowing like maybe a tiny bit about air pollution and maybe a little bit about water pollution. But during the summer, I was able to learn that there's more things that are impacted and more about what environmental issues are and how they affect not only humans, but other living species. So during the summer, we had many different field trips, and I really enjoyed all of them. My favorite being probably Lake Merritt because I love the water and paddle boating was really nice. But also I do remember like my legs were really sore at the end, but I'm pretty sure everyone had fun doing that trip. Um, we have also like me and my family had also gotten like produce boxes, which were like little boxes that get sent to your house, which has different fresh produce. We were able to like make different meals that came. We were able to make different meals, and my favorite produce was probably the broccolis because I love broccolis. The main reason why produce boxes are so important and nice to have is because they're able to provide fresh and nutritious fruits and vegetables to people that don't have much of access to healthy stores. And studies have shown that the constant deliveries of fresh produce have many families are have a better diet and are more healthy. Also, since produce boxes are being delivered to the houses, it saves like time and the struggles of going like to a grocery store, especially for like people who live far and have to drive further. And my externship over the summer was with Family Harvest Farm in Pittsburg. And an externship is basically where like students are able to like experience different things that give like an insight on different career paths in like a short period of time. It was from 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m., but it was changed to 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. because the temperature would reach like the 90s, which is really high, and the UV light would be around 10 to 8, wait, 8 to 10. Oops. And we also did like a lot of mulching, which is where like we shovel lots of bark and used a wheelbarrow to bring it over to like certain spots to help improve the soil and help grow the surrounding crops. We also like harvest plants like tomatoes and small watermelons. And we also bind it up like crops, so just like a pathway for people to walk and so we don't step on the crops. And my time during fellowship, I've made many different types of activity books. The most recent one was for my tree planting event in February, which I was sadly unable to pass out because of how many people showed up and because of how much work there was to be done. I've also done one that relates to water quality for my water quality project. And then my tree planting event where I was doing research on trees and how it impacts the environment around the center in Oakland. I'd also continue to do more research and learn more about environmental justice. Next slide. Okay, my tree planting event. So, what does tree planting do? It allows new and cleaner air to be produced, so it improves the air quality around the surrounding area. Trees are effective as buffer zones, which they filter out pollution and keep the air healthier. Trees are also home to many different animals, and there are about 73,000 kinds of trees. Um, the tree planting event took place at Oak Central Cultural Center in Oakland, and Oakland is known to be one of the most polluted cities in the Bay Area. And I did a bit of research, and the center is surrounded by elementary school and a middle school. And elders, our children, are most vulnerable to pollution, which is really bad because it's surrounded by like elementary and middle schools. Okay. A random fact: trees are able to filter out pollution. Trees are able to store carbon dioxide and PM 2.5, also known as particulate matter, which is the most harmful pollution to our lungs. And we could see it around highways, factories, refineries, etc., which surrounds the low-income and minority neighborhoods. But a single tree is able to filter up about 100 feet. And what I hope for this event was to make this event like fun and engaging, which I hope people did enjoy, you know. I also wanted to introduce a bit about what we were gonna do throughout the event and the importance of trees, but I didn't get the chance to because again there was like 75 people that who showed up and there was a lot to do. I've also made a handout. It's shown on the bottom right there. That's the cover. But yeah. Next slide. So this is what the handbook was supposed to look like. So, a bit about what my handbook is that I introduced the background of different parts of trees, how they compete for resources. I also give like three different examples of trees, which were the redwood trees, California black oak, and California water plum. The handbook had also had some activities related to trees and how trees are connected to environmental justice and just, some fun facts. Yep. Okay, next slide. So my main takeaways during my time in New Voices is my tree planting event, the creation of my handout for the event, my summer externship, Family Harvest Farm, and how food justice is connected to ooh, sorry, environmental justice. My tree planting event did go well, but again, I was a little like disappointed. I wasn't able to like give out my introduction or the handout, but I'm really glad that there was a lot of people who showed up. Um, a bit about how I created the book again is like I did research on background of trees and how they benefit us, and the three different examples of trees. My externship at Farmer Harvest Farm was pretty chill since everyone was really nice and we would just work together to keep the farm running. Last but not least, the connection food justice has to environmental justice. The environment affects how and if our food is able to be grown. If our environment is like negatively affected by pollution, it can affect if we are able to access healthy food because let's say that the water that's used to grow crops is contaminated, the crops will be contaminated and too dangerous to consume. It can also hurt the soil and kill the surrounding crops that are being grown. So by keeping our environment clean, we will also be healthier. Next slide. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed, hopefully.